What is going on, everybody? I wanted to film this quick video for you to show you what I think is the ultimate local business playbook when it comes to getting new local business clients. Basically, I'm doing cold email and cold call to these people, and it's been working really well. We've been doing it for about 3 days now, and we've booked a little over 30 meetings, I want to say. So we're averaging like 10 meetings a day, which is not bad. Honestly, the best results I've probably had in business so far. So you will also, I'm going to include this clay table so you guys can just copy and paste this and just use it. So watch the whole video and, I'll show you guys how to do that. I'll put it in the post. But anyway, so what we're doing here is this is a clay workbook, just like an Excel workbook. We're able to have multiple pages here. So essentially what we're doing is we're using serper.dev. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially a service that you can use to scrape things from Google. It's completely for free, or it's very, very cheap. If you want to learn more about it, there's a video on my YouTube channel where I talk all about it. But essentially what we're doing is we've got this HTTP post request. And if we look at this, we're essentially just putting in the places endpoint. Our query here, this is basically like whatever you would type into Google, and then the location, where we want to pull these places from. And then here, this part's really important. So like server.dev will only pull one page at a time. So what I did here was essentially just number all of the pages, 1 through 20. If you just do the Google search yourself, you'll be able to see how many pages it is, or, roughly, usually with local businesses, there's no more than like 25 pages. So I just do 25. And then you put in the page number here. So as it goes through each row, it's going to scrape a new page. That's it. Don't copy my API key, you nerds. I have to keep changing that because I keep showing it in these videos. But anyway, you run these things and you get, you get these places. So you can see here, we get the title, their Google review, the address, the website. It's just very clean data. You can use Instant Data Scraper for this. This is what I was using Instant Data Scraper when I first started. It works completely fine. It seems to differ, the data that it returns. It differs business to business. So like for whatever reasons, like eye doctors, I would be able to get all the phone numbers, all of that stuff, because it's shown on their Google business profile. Whereas with dentists, the phone number isn't shown. The only way you can see the phone number is by clicking on the call button, which I think has something to do with LSA ads. I'm not sure. But with serper.dev, it's like same data every single time, so it's much cleaner. But again, if you guys just want like a quick way to scrape Google Maps, just use Instant Data Scraper. It's a free Chrome extension. I use it still all the time. It's freaking awesome. But anyway, once we pull these 10 places from this page, what we're doing is we're writing it to a table. So I'll show you guys what this looks like. Essentially, we're just pulling in any of the data that we're getting from serper.dev, pulling the relevant stuff in, right? So we're pulling in website, title, phone number, and address. That's all we really care about. We're putting it in this business output. So what I want to be able to do here is essentially see here we've got addresses. And now these addresses these do seem to be relatively uniform, but they do change every now and again. So it's difficult to write a formula to parse out this data if you want to have like a city column and a state column, which I like to have because I'm scheduling meetings kind of all in the same area in Connecticut. This way I can schedule like them back to back to back and just drive, meeting to meeting. So what I did here is just use ChatGPT, guys. It like the more and more I use Clay and just do this kind of data stuff, the more and more just ChatGPT is just like the tool that fixes everything. You can do almost anything with it. So again, I'm just parsing out the data into city and state into a uniform format. This way I can write a formula to actually parse it out. So I'll show you what this looks. This is basically all I'm saying is take this address and parse it out to just the state. Do not return anything other than the 2 letters of the state, such as New York, CT, or Mass. Then return the city in a separate output. Now, this you used to be able to do with ChatGPT, but it wasn't. It would screw up sometimes. It would not always be the same thing. So Clay introduced this thing, which this is like one of my new favorite features of Clay. is, wow, and I didn't know you could return it as a JSON. That's even better. You can define the column outputs. So like I said, return a city and a state, and then you're giving it context in this prompt. So then the data that you get back is this beautifully written data. It's perfect every single time. And then you can just write a simple formula here. Again, you use AI to do this. Like I didn't even write this code. You just go to use AI. You tell it what you want it to do, and it just writes the formula, right? So we're then getting, let me hide these two columns because they're kind of irrelevant. Cool. So this is much, much cleaner. So then what I'm doing here is, again, I'm cold calling these people, trying to get a meeting booked. The thing here is, obviously I'm a massive cold email guy. Like that's what the Skool group's all about. But now that I'm doing a whole ton of cold calling and just doing a ton of volume with that, I'm loving cold calling just because it is instant. Like cold email is pretty quick, but like until you get that campaign dialed, it can take a little bit. And then you're doing a lot of back and forth on email, like when are you free? Can we reschedule? Blah 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 blah. With cold call, it's like you pick up the phone, you hang up the phone, you have a meeting set. So it's very quick. So what I like to do is cold call first, see if I can set the meeting. A lot of the times they'll say no, and they'll just say like send me an email. Which if any of you know an objection handler for getting past just send me an email, please tell me because I can't figure it out yet. But what I'm doing is I'm actually sending them the email, right? But I don't want to waste time doing it, so I've automated that part. So when I'm cold calling, I want to be able to pick up the phone and know who I'm looking for. Instead of saying like, hey, is the doctor free? I can say, hey, is Dr. Fred free? Is Dr. Olivia free? It sounds much better. Again, go back to my cold calling videos. I posted one 2 days ago or yesterday or whenever, as to why I do this. But essentially what I'm doing is I'll show you again. And again, you guys will have this all in the clay table that I'm going to be sharing with you. So, you can just copy and paste this. But what I'm doing here, again, quick TED talk on how to do prompting. You want to give ChatGPT instructions of what to do, relevant data, and then ideally examples. Like that's like the three-pronged approach. So I did this manually and then just basically wrote out what I did manually, give this to ChatGPT, and told it, go to this website, look at the main page, look at the about page, look at the meet the team page. And then if you can't find anyone on that, just look on any page and try to find someone that works here. So then it will return these names. Now you can see here some of these change. That's because sometimes the meet the team page will have like the whole team and ChatGPT will pick the wrong one. I think that just comes down to me having better prompting. I did this in like 15 minutes, so it's not 100% accurate, but it's good enough to get you where you're going. And you don't need to waste a lot of time on this. The data doesn't need to be perfect. You just need a little bit of data. This way you're ahead of the pack. Because most cold callers are just like, hey, is decision maker free? We're calling them out by name, right? So that's it. Like this is basically the extent of the data. I have done things where I'm pulling their services of what they do and then scoring that based on like, hey, listen, if they have PDO threads, like that's a hot target, I'm going to score them a 5. If they only have Botox, they're a 2. But in all honesty, like I don't think that's really that necessary just because it's like, we just want as many meetings as we possibly can. So like, let's not be, picky and choosy. Let's just get meetings. We can be picky and choosy once we're, in sales conversations. But these last 4 columns are all manual columns, but they're like beautiful. I love them. So essentially what I'm able to do here is like, I, wake up in the morning and I've got my phone numbers here, and usually this is hidden. So I've got my phone number here, my website, and my doctor name. So I'll just say, hey Siri, dial this number, ring, ring. I'll click on their website, pull it up at the same time. I'm back.
I don't see a click in your contacts.
Oh, Siri, enough. Pull up their website just so I have the context. Do my pitch. And then what I'm able to do here is put in my notes. The first thing I always do is front desk. So I'll always, like, as soon as I call, I've got this pulled up. And a lot of times they'll answer and they'll say their name, but if not, I'm just like, hey, sorry, you broke up there. What was your name again? And they'll be like, oh, it was, Jennifer or whatever. So I put that in because, again, this way I've got even more data for the next time I cold call, right? So if I call this business and I don't get a meeting the first go around, when I call next week, I can pick up the phone and be like, is this Jennifer? Jennifer, what is going on? It's Evan. We talked last week. I'm still trying to get a meeting with your doctor. So again, it's just you're able to kind of compound your efforts here and build a better repertoire of data. Because to me, again, the key here with cold calling is just to sound familiar, sound like them, sound like you know them, they know you. So the first thing I'll do is say front desk, and like they're like, oh, it's Jennifer, so cool, Jennifer's in here. Then try to book the meeting. If I don't book the meeting, a lot of the times it's, hey, I'm Jennifer, I'm the front desk lady, I can book patient appointments, but I don't book business appointments. That's our office manager, Kim. So then I'll do office manager Kim. So again, like, we want to leave all of these cold calls with something. Even if we're not leaving with a meeting, let's at least leave with the information we need to book said meeting the next go around. So like if we walk away and it's like we've got Kim's name, the office manager, next cold call, when we pick up the phone, we can just immediately, as soon as they answer, hey Jennifer, it's Evan. Can you put me through to Kim? Sure. Boom. Now we're on to the next level of decision maker. Kim's the one that's in control of that. Now we've got someone that we can actually pitch, because never pitch the gatekeeper, because it's usually just a waste of time. They don't make any decisions anyway, so it's just like, just get me on the calendar. But this is like what I'll do in the notes column. Sometimes I'll throw in some extra notes, but in all honesty, like I find that just front desk and office manager is more than enough. You don't really need anything else. Then here for cold call result, I've got these few categories here. So I'll just run through them very quickly. Follow up just means follow up with them. Like there was a reason, they said call back, the office manager is in, whatever. Just follow up with these people. Booked obviously means we got a meeting on the calendar. Not booked means I spoke to a human, asked for a meeting, and they said no, right? That's what that means. No connect means I either the number just rang, or I just didn't speak to a human. That's what no connect is. I didn't speak to a human. Voicemail means I actually left a voicemail, because sometimes what I'll do, some people say don't leave voicemails. I kind of like leaving them. Very brief, very vague, because our goal here is to get them to call you back. So it's just, hey, it's Evan. I'm calling about whatever. Hang up. Boom. 99% of the time, they're going to call you back anyway. I do voicemail. This way I can remind myself to save the person in my contact list, because that was one of my biggest mistakes early on. Was I'd leave a zillion voicemails and then I'd get a zillion calls back and be like, who are these people? And I'd answer the phone and be like, are you a dentist? Are you a med spa? Like, I talked to so many different people. I sounded like an idiot on the phone. So voicemail means I left a voicemail, save that in your contact books. This way, when they call you back, you know who you're talking to. And then dead number just means like Google disconnected, doesn't ring. Verizon says no one exists here. That's it. Soon as you fill in this information, so like if we just do this, you can see here it deletes the date. But then if we, put in this, it posts the date. Why it's a day late, I do not know. I can't figure out why. But if I called someone on November 6th, it means that I really called them on November 7th. Today's November 8th, and as you can see, when I put in not booked, it does November 7th. I don't know why it does that, but it does. And then here, email. So again, like I said, a lot of times they'll just be like, send me an email. It's like, all right, whatever. So you put in, your info, email, or sometimes, again, if they give you the office manager's name or the point of contact's name, just like, what is their email? Don't give me the info one. Give me their email. So a lot of times you get good ones like Gmails and Yahoos and Outlooks. I throw that in here at gmail.com. And then this isn't set up yet, but what I plan on doing is having a third table here with people that once I get this, this email, what I'm going to be able to do is have this data pushed to a third table with the front desk person's name that I spoke to, enrich the email, enrich the prospect more from data from their site. So like I was talking about earlier, how I was scoring leads. I want to be able to reach out to these people. So as soon as I get an email, I can put the email in here and then it'll automatically put them in a campaign and start sending them emails while I continue cold calling. So essentially, what I'd like to be able to do here, and again, I'll film a video once I build this and share it with you guys, but essentially what I want to be able to do here is when I get an email, I put it in that column, I push it to a campaign, and then I'm able to reach out saying, hey, office manager Kate, this is Evan. I spoke with front desk lady Jennifer. I heard that you did PDO threads. I wanted to see if this was any of interest. We've got a new product that has, instant results, zero patient downtime, and is far more profitable than any other PDO thread, service whatever, whatever your pitch is. And then we follow up till the end of time. But a lot of people don't do that. Like a lot of people just don't want to do the time and the effort, and neither do I, which is why we automate it. So this has been working really, really well for me. Again, it's pretty rudimentary, pretty simple, but I'm finding more and more as time progresses and as I learn. Simple is usually the best. That's what is that? Not Hanlon's razor. Whatever, I forget. There's a name for that. That simple is always the best solution. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. So I hope this is helpful, guys. Again, I will leave the clay table output in the Skool group, so you can just copy and paste this and use it for yourself. Hope it helps. Have a good one, guys. Talk soon.